I am dying of a horrible disease, and I want you all to feel bad for me. Yeah, no, I'm not dying. Not at all. I hope no one here is dying, because that would make me sad. So he's going to fly the command center over the rocks and to the landing point before the rocks are even broken, but he's smashing down those rocks now, and these Zerglings are pounding away at this rock to clear a path so that that is not an easy third for the Orange Terran to defend. Corinne now taking her fourth. Some wicked macro here coming out, starting to saturate the third, saturating the second, but a little bit empty because of the drone transfer to the third, and completely saturated at the main. So going to income tab. Ooh, a little bit of a voice crack here. I feel like a 14-year-old boy. This is amazing. And yeah, 50 harvesters to 44, so not terribly ahead. But going back to the production tab here for a second, we are seeing an infestation pit. We do have a lair. Does that mean we are going to see hive tech? That would make me smile. And we are seeing weapons 2 for melee attack. Very nice. And Thor coming out for the orange Zerg. And those Lings, they did pressure here a little bit, but denied by Hellions at the Terran third. However, we have some Mutalisks coming in here to make short work of those Hellions. And let's see how this goes. And we see one Hellion go down, 2 Hellions go down, and denied by the Marines. But she did force the stim on those Marines, so now those Marines are a little bit lower health than they would like to be. Those drugs, they're making them impotent. And the command center cannot land because of a burrowed Zergling here, so that is going to force the construction of missile turrets, not only for the Muta, but to detect this Zergling. That is going to give vision. And the Marines have not decided to come kill this yet. I would laugh if that is out of the detection range of that missile turret. But I don't think it is. What is going on here? He's just not going to kill that. That's so funny to me. So he can't take his third. What a great delay. There we go. Taking out that Zergling. Now it looks like the command center is finally going to be able to land for Annie. And let's see, probably a probe SCV transfer soon, unless he's just going to transform that and mule the shit out of it. But we'll see, we'll see. So we're looking at a little bit more of a mech ball than bio coming out now. And I think really that's the route Terran needs to take against Zerg. Banelings were far too effective against the Marine Marauder balls. However, the Marine Marauder balls, keep in mind, are much more easily replaced than a mech ball. So, yeah, no, that could go either way. It looks like we have burrowed Banelings here at the watchtower. And we got some more Banelings coming up here. What's going down there? We've got some more burrowed Banelings here. And yeah, this is going to be interesting. Spreading them out just a little bit to get more, you know, blast radius for when those go off. And I'd be curious as to whether this orange, if Juice here walks across those Banelings, so that'll be interesting. And that Overlord, gonna go down to the Thor. The Overlord lives with 1 HP. Okay, that is a special thing for me. Oh god, I love that. And so now we're seeing Annie push forward with siege tanks, getting in position to make a push with a slow tank creep, moving forward with the rest of their army, starting to take down the rocks. So great active thinking by Annie, always thinking of where their next expo is going to be. I like that a lot. So keep that in mind, guys. Never do nothing with your army. There's no reason for it to sit still. So this Terran army is definitely thinking ahead. He wants that gold expo next, so he's going to break down the rocks. I mean, why do nothing? Why leave those there? The Zerg player hasn't quite saturated their fourth. Not really working on saturation on their third, mostly in production of military units. And you know what? Not typical Zerg playstyle, but it's looking quite effective. We have quite the army here. Thor are not very effective against Zerglings, with weapons too, for that matter. They will do a lot of damage if they surround the Thor. However, there are pre-ignitered Hellions here. I do believe they have the pre-igniter. Let's take a look at the factory. Yes, we do have pre-igniter for those Hellions, so those will be quite effective against the Zerglings, but there aren't too many, just 4. Siege tanks, however, are going to create quite the predicament, and the Marines, well, Marines are Marines, but they are made short work of by the fungal growth from the infestors. So lots more banelings being warped in here. Warped in. Don't warp in a baneling. You hatch a baneling. You need tender loving care and months of nurturing. Well, it's actually more like 10 seconds. God, I wish I could nurture a child for 10 seconds and then send him on his way. It's like, that's good, you can go now. God, none of those lawsuits I've been through. I mean, okay. So scouting forward with the Marine, getting abused by some Zerglings. And what's gonna come out of these Muta? Oh, not good, not good. But that Thor only hit one Muta, so that's good. They're still spread out in the air. And I'm gonna yawn for a second, not because this game is boring, because it's an awesome game so far. Not too much action, but a lot of strategic outlook. We got some very talented players at taking their next bases, and this is a PF, Planetary Fortress. The orange Terran player has taken his fourth and is now on even base with the Zerg player. However, is much more heavily saturated at his third and is beginning to saturate a gold, and that's going to be a Planetary Fortress and difficult to engage for the Zerg player. However, these Muta, if this army pushes, is going to be able to harass these back bases, so hopefully we can see some multitasking from SSNSpyte, and she can't engage those Hellions. She can't move forward, and she knows it because of the siege tank. So she's taking some abuse from the Hellions, and it's not worth it to her, I don't think, but she doesn't want to push. And the Roach gets a pot shot off at that Hellion. Ling's pushing forward, they take a shot from the siege tank, but I think the siege tank hit its own Hellion. And the Banelings hit a bunch of Marines and Marauder underground. Banelings pushing forward, Ling's pushing forward, siege tanks very well placed on the far side of the gap. Beautiful placement from OJ. And SSNSpyte can't push forward against that kind of siege weaponry. And she's gonna mind control on two Thors. Mind control, two Thors, killing two more Thors, raging in towards the siege tanks. And oh my god, Broodlords! 6, 7 Broodlords. I don't know how many there are. So many Broodlords. Units counting station. We have 9 Broodlords for SSNSpyte. Where did those come from? And breaking down this Terran's army completely. The Muta coming down here, going to completely wipe out this Gold Expo, and the Broodlords will be successfully able to take down this PF. And if the Terran player tries to repair it, it'll be such a waste of their money and time. And that PF goes down. So that expansion completely denied for OJ. They will be able to successfully kill this PF and those missile turrets, I'm sure. But yes, SSNSpyte is going to push over here, and I don't know what she's going to do now. The Broodlords will be easily able to snipe those, and that's what they're going to do. Those missile turrets go down so fast to the many Broodlings, especially with the melee attack upgrade on the Broodlords. So despite being a ranged unit, they do benefit from the melee attack of the Broodlords, and that is fantastic. Broodlings. So 2 Vikings coming in here, but those Muta will be able to rip them to shreds. But the Thor come in, they're going to get free shots off at those Muta, but they don't even fire. Firing at the Broodlords, taking one out. Oh, will SSNSpyte lose a second? No, she does not lose a second. So this army quickly macroed up again for Annie, 4 Thors, and tons of Marines. Going back to the production tab just for you guys, and we're seeing more Thors, more Vikings, nothing in production for SSNSpyte, as she is pretty much maxed again. 8 Zerglings coming out just for Banelings, I assume. And more Overlords in the middle just because of the rally points. But tons of Roaches now to tank that siege damage and take the Thor shells, and more Infestors. And let's see what happens here. I'm strongly favoring the Zerg player, and Broodlords making it difficult for the Marines to push forward. The Thors push in and start firing at the Broodlords, but mind control again, taking 2 Thor. Fungal growth on the Marines and Marauders, more mind control. That's 3 Thor to mind control, and the Roaches begin to snipe those Thors, finishing them off before they can go back to OJ. However, they do get more shots off on the Broodlords, and the Vikings clean up the remaining Broodlords, but the Muta Ball comes in to destroy any Viking presence, and the Zerglings with their crazy upgrades, and the Roaches benefiting from Armor 1 push in against the Terran army, and this is not looking good for OJ. Muta's at the front door picking off production and supply. stopping any reinforcement bio coming down the ramp, and really destroying this natural here. And taking the remaining expansions on the map, finally starting to saturate. Never mind. I was gonna say something good, but it wasn't true. And then we're gonna just set buildings on fire. I like this. I like this a lot. So muling the hell out of this strip mine here, and he's really got to turn this into something, a PF probably, because he's not going to be able to stop anything with his military because he doesn't have one. Just saying. So we got a little bit of a bio ball here. Oh, chest pains, chest pains. I am too excited, ladies and gentlemen. Too excited from those mine controls. Those were phenomenal. And the roaches tear through this base, and a siege tank and marines being produced from OJ, but it's not going to be enough. And the bio comes in and just gets fungal growth. Does snipe some of those infestors. Actually, all those infestors go down to that bio ball. But I mean, it doesn't matter. So many roaches here. Muta as well. The missile turrets are going to take pot shots at the Muta, but the turret goes down. That is revenge. And these SCVs are going to try to repair the siege tank. Not even. The siege tank just goes down uncontested. And the SCVs just suicide into the roaches. And that looks like GG from Annie. So victory goes to SSNSpyte. And great game, guys. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Thumbs up if you like the video. Favorite it if you love me. And you know what? I do take weekends off. We can go wherever you want. I'm SSN Incarnate, and you're watching Start Crafting.